Hey friends, welcome back to the UFD Tech Channel. Hope you're doing well. We've got some interesting stuff to talk about today with regards to Navi. That's the whole point of today's video, is just kind of a discussion. But I want to bring every single one of you in on it, at least those who are in the US and Canada, at the very least, because today's video is brought to you by Ting. And if you don't know them by now, they've been sponsoring the UFD Tech Channel for quite some time. They're the mobile phone carrier in the United States that does things differently. But today, it's an extra special little sponsor spot because they've given us a phone number that people in the US and Canada can call into. And what I want you to do is give us your thoughts on Navi, what you're expecting. Are you excited? Are you prepared to be disappointing? What do you think is going to be part of Navi? And what do you think of the things that we discuss in today's episode? And we can do a follow-up on everything that you guys think in the future about Navi. So the phone number that you can call thanks to Ting is 1-833-UFD-3887. Again, that's 1-833-UFD-3887, but the UFD is also 833, so that's kind of cool. 1-833-833-3887. That's the number you're going to dial into and call us on. And if you're looking to just sign up for Ting and you want to pay for what you use, ufd.ting.com, you get $25 off of your first bill or $25 off on a phone on their store. But either way, it's a call-in episode because we've got a lot of stuff to talk about with Navi that has cropped up over the past few days, and that it makes it a little bit more intriguing than what it initially was. And in case you don't remember, a lot of this started way back in December of last year when Adore TV had his major leak kind of exposing that we were expected to get the RX 3080, the RX 3070, and the RX 3060 for Navi, and they were going to come in at amazing prices that were going to absolutely destroy what Nvidia has offered in the past, but also what they're offering now, undercutting them by quite a bit. But also with that leak, there was the rumor that it was going to be announced at CES, but as we know, that didn't happen. Radeon 7 was the announcement that happened at CES, and from what Jim from Adore TV has said, that is because there was a spinning issue with actually producing Navi, and it set them back a couple months so that they actually weren't able to bring the cards out in time for CES, so they had to go back to Radeon 7, which is overly expensive due to its 16 gigabytes of HBM2, but that's one of the only ways that they could actually get something that's better than a Vega 64 out on the market. Anyways, that was where we were standing for a while, is that we're still expecting Navi to be announced sometime this year. In fact, Lisa Su just said in her earnings call for Q1 that we're expecting Navi to go on sale in Q3. So Navi is definitely coming, but there's some caveats that seem to be cropping up from here and there, especially with Adore TV's latest video analyzing Navi Part 2, where he goes into the fact that there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes that he's been getting emails about that kind of make it look like, this is not the savior that we were hoping for. And in fact, it kind of makes it look like just a regular old AMD launch rather than something exciting, which is what we were hoping it would come out to be. So there's actually a couple leaks that have come out, both from Adore TV's video on analyzing Navi, as well as Tweaktown, who kind of released the same things just a little bit later and saying that it's from their exclusive source. Either way, let's go ahead and discuss it because there are some interesting developments that could make it so that Navi isn't as good as what we're expecting, but still might be competitive, hopefully, especially when you compare it to the fact that Nvidia just decided to overprice everything this generation. If they had stuck to their pricing scheme from last generation, then it'd be totally fine. But AMD gets the boon here because Nvidia just likes to make tons of cash. Anyways, let's look at Adore TV's listing of the graphics cards that we're expecting to come out. That starts from the RX 3060 all the way up to the RX 3090. They're not going with TI because apparently that would piss off Nvidia too much, but it appears that AMD, at least based on the rumors, is going to be going with the naming scheme that they went with Ryzen, which is calling things based on what Intel was naming it, so Intel i3 Ryzen 3 equivalent. With the Navi architecture, instead of getting the RX 600 series, we're getting the RX 3000 series to undercut what Nvidia would launch next year, this year. Would they launch it this year? I don't know. It's been 2 years since they upgraded the 10 series. Doubtful. Anyways, so the RX 3060 is supposed to be the lowest level, 75 watt TDP, RX 580 level performance, no external PCI Express power connector for $140. That is about what you can expect to pay for an RX 580 right now on a good sale, including a couple games. So the pricing actually isn't all that unfathomable for $140. What is a little interesting is the 75 watt TDP, considering that the RX 580 is nowhere near that. And in fact, they would actually overdraw on the PCI Express power connector when the 480s came out. Anyways, that's not here nor there. What is here is that it's supposed to have 4 gigabytes of GDDR6 and compete with the RX 580. Then the RX 3070 is what we're looking at for Vega 56 level performance for $200 at 130 watt power consumption. RX 3070 XT, which would be equivalent to NVIDIA's TI branding, so like a 3070 Ti, that's going to compete with the Vega 64 at 160 watts and cost $250. So this is a bit of a step down from what the last rumor was, which said that we would get 1080 level performance for just over $250. Now it looks like for $250 you're getting slightly less than 1080 level performance, depending on the game. Obviously, we got the Vulkan APIs, some DX12 games. That's not the point. In general, Vega 64 performs slightly worse than the 1080 in modern, like, just Microsoft games, DirectX stuff, okay? Then the RX 3080, we're expecting that to have 8 gigabytes of GDDR6, Vega 64 plus 10% performance. This is the one that was supposed to be $250. The latest rumor is that it is $280 with 175 watt TDP. The XT version of that is supposed to be on par with the 2070, so just slightly better, 190 watt TDP for $330. Then there's one on top of that, the RX 3090, which is supposed to compete with the Radeon 7 for $430, and then the RX 3090 XT or TI, Radeon 7 plus 10% performance for 225 watt TDP for $500. That's actually pretty good. So that is in Adore TV's video from May 4th, but then we also have the exclusive leak from Tweaktown posting just yesterday on the 6th instead of the 4th. So we're supposed to be getting the RX 3090 XT, just like Adore TV says, and that it's supposed to be a Navi 20 GPU with 64 compute units, 16 gigabytes of GDDR6, and 10% more performance than the Radeon 7 for $500. And Anthony from Tweaktown says, remember, these are all leaked specs and nothing is concrete, but that makes sense according to all the other things I'm hearing behind the scenes from my own sources regarding Navi 20. Now, on top of that, on top of all of the performance, which I'll give an opinion on in just a little bit, Tweaktown seems to be pretty adamant that AMD is going to be announcing these and launching these at E3 and not at Computex, even though it's listed in the blurb about Lisa Su on the Computex main page. Apparently that's not where it's being launched. It's going to be launched at E3, even though the only results I can find on the internet for E3 and AMD are all the same exact rumor that's being quoted here, that it's going to be coming out. Apparently their sources are pretty adamant about this. The only thing that I could connect it to is that the last E3 that AMD attended was in 2016 when they partnered with Doom to kind of unveil Doom and the performance of AMD with that. So I could speculate that they would try to pull something off this time, except for back then it was for Zen, now it's for the graphics cards. Maybe it's Doom Eternal at E3. Bethesda's partnering up with AMD to kind of showcase how Navi performs in the latest Death Doom Hell shooter of Mars. That's how you describe Doom. So that's the only way that I can connect AMD to E3. Other than that, that's like the most unsubstantiated part about this. Everything else is kind of connected to other rumors that we've been hearing along the way. But what especially was intriguing about Adore TV's video was the fact that he's been saying that he from his December post about the RX 30 series and Navi that way, every bit of news he's received since then has only been continuously negative about the Navi architecture, including such things as the engineers can't wait to move on from this project because it's been so draining on them and it actually just kind of sucks. So it kind of seems like Navi might not be in the place that we're expecting, and especially if we look at the PCB leak that just came out, it could be that we have a 300 watt card that's coming out from AMD, which obviously is above the TDP of all of these cards that were listed in the Adore TV video. And that could mean that it's actually hotter and louder and less performing than what we're expecting. But at the same time, if they come in at the right price point, 350 watt TDP for Radeon 7 plus 10%, but it only costs $500, which is a $200 discount off of what AMD is offering and what NVIDIA is offering. The price is actually okay. It's just you actually need a beefy power supply to actually power it. Obviously, if the TDP and the actual power draw of Navi isn't as great as what we've been expecting, it could be a problem for some people, but as long as the pricing from AMD is okay, then I could be satisfied. But in Adore TV's video, he lists 5 different things that are the latest Navi rumors, and that's 1, Navi Instinct will be delayed to Q1 2020. There are horror stories about Navi. Navi can't match Vega 20 clocks, Vega 20 clocks. Number 4 is clock targets are met, but thermals and power are bad. And then number 5 is disregard faith in Navi. The engineers can't wait to be done with it. So things aren't looking up, at least from the main proponent of these leaks in the past, which was Adore TV. And everything he's been hearing is that Navi actually isn't going to be as good as what we thought. And it does seem like this is just another typical launch from AMD. I mean, Vega, when it launched, was just hot, loud, and kind of not worth the money that it sold for. And that, I mean, all NVIDIA had to do to combat it was release the 1070 Ti, and then the Vegas were overpriced. Then you had the mining bubble happening, and then they just became insanely not worth it for gaming whatsoever. Now they're at a place that actually makes sense for purchasing if you compare them to the NVIDIA alternative. I've heard stories of people being able to pick up a Vega 64 for around $275. And that is a freaking great price when you compare it to the RTX 2070, which is going for $500. So Vega's in a good space right now. Navi actually kind of has to beat that value-wise in order to make sense as a new launch. Otherwise, AMD might as well just ride out Vega. But it does seem like Navi might have a few issues going on behind the scenes. I mean, a $500 Radeon 7 plus 10% is something that I could definitely say is worth buying. Radeon 7 competes with the RTX 2080 and in fact beats it in a lot of games. So for the same price, $700-800, but now you're paying $500 for a slightly better card, that would work. That would make sense, regardless of TDP. If it's a 350 watt card, it would suck for some people who would have to upgrade the power supply, but I could see the majority of people buying it. The 3090 XT, as long as it delivers on the performance and it comes in at the right value target, the TDP is not gonna matter too much for me, but unfortunately it looks like AMD is still constrained by the GCN architecture, not being able to deliver more than 64 compute units in a way that actually works, and we're gonna have to wait until the next generation of architecture for that. So, that's a lot. I'm kind of excited for Navi, but at the same time, given the Vega launch, given the delays that we saw with Vega, given the fact that it looks like Navi was supposed to be announced at CES, but it has been delayed, and it looks like the engineers are losing faith in Navi, it doesn't seem like it's going to be the thing that everybody wanted, and instead, it looks like it's just gonna be another why you do this, AMD, unless they can come in at the right pricing and it's actually not all hot and loud like AMD has come to be known for. Obviously, there is a lot more about the Navi architecture that you can learn from Adore TV's videos. He released 2 videos totaling over an hour regarding this topic. So if you're interested in that, I highly recommend taking a deep dive on those. Go listen to his sweet Scottish accent. We'll leave a link up there, leave a link in the video description. But it's not just Adore TV leaking it, it's also Tweaktown throwing out these rumors, and it does seem like $500 for Radeon 7 plus 10% is the way that we're expecting the flagship to be, and it looks like E3 according to certain people, Computex according to other people. Lisa Su says it's going to be for sale in Q3, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be able to launch the flagship first. It could just be that they're going to launch the RX 3070 first and then trickle out the other ones along the way, and it's not till like November that we'll see the actual RX 3090 XT to actually beat what NVIDIA has on the market. There's a lot of speculation going on right now. There's a lot of new rumors being put forth, and I just kind of wanted to make a video to dissect them all and present them to you. And again, big thanks to Ting for sponsoring this video so that you guys can call in and let me know what you're thinking about Navi. We will potentially play them on a future episode, so keep that in mind. And also, like, when you phone in, it just goes straight to voicemail. So like, we're gonna hear what you say after the fact. But let us know what you think about Navi. What do you think about these latest rumors? What do you want from AMD? Are you expecting good things? Are you kind of disappointed? Let us know at the phone number 1-833-UFD-3887 or down in the comments down below if you don't happen to live in the US or Canada. So just go ahead and do that. And also check out ufd.ting.com to get signed up with the mobile phone carrier who does things differently. Is actually amazing, and I totally used them before I moved to South Africa because it helped us save money because we're connected to Wi-Fi all the time. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Let me know what you think of everything, again, at the phone number in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our tech-related content. I'm Brett with the UFD Tech Channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you, smiley face, in the next video. Love you too. Bye!